everybody, and welcome back to more dicing with the Death.
Hello.
The Death. So Zweihaard is in Blacksteel Keep. You get to settle down for the night. Probably half worrying that alarm bells are going to start going off. But they don't. The night passes peacefully.
I showed those hobgoblins what's up. They'd be fools to attack Blacksteel Keep after this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I will rest up.
Okay. How long would you like to rest?
Long enough to memorize spells.
Perfect.
And I will memorize one warp wood and one straighten wood.
Okay.
For some more experiments. In the morning, I will take my crocodile skin to the tanner. Is there a tanner?
Yes.
Is there but one, or are there multiple to choose from?
There's probably
one master and their apprentices.
Yeah, there is a single tanner building that the folks work in.
Before I do that, I'm actually going to head to my forge and see what Hilda's up to. So can we actually, maybe now would be a good time to get a description of Blacksteel Keep? We've done it before, but maybe we ought to set it in stone. I think it may be a site of further interest, correct?
Yes.
Or would you rather leave it vague so you can...
No, let's... I finally have a proper notepad, which I swear to God, I'm going to keep my notes in one place this time. So let's
Is that before when we were joking about your note-keeping system and...
Yeah.
How you try to label them, and then you wind up just saying screw it and writing notes in whichever notebook you pull down. So
and then I can never find my notes, and it's...
Yeah.
One of these days, guys. One of these days. All right, Blacksteel Keep.
Do you want to give some sort of narrative description, or shall I just interrogate?
Well, it is built into the side of a hill because there are many mines, and there's a palisade wall that goes around it. Let's see, there are a few outlying structures, or like I should say within the wall, but outside of the keep, like, you know, above ground structures. There are a few, mostly the workshops that produce stench that you wouldn't want to be trapped in an underground area. So the tanners are up here. The most of the blacksmithing stuff is also at ground level or just below, with vents that lead up and out. There is a multi-structure building in the middle that also has a below-ground area to it. I think we said before that it was 2 or 3 stories above ground. Does that sound right?
Yes, I think so. 2 or 3 sounds familiar to me as well.
Let's say it's 2 stories with like a small 3rd story sort of like lookout area. So 2 major floors in the 3rd.
This is the main body of the keep itself, or is this just like a watchtower?
It is the main-ish body of the keep. It's where the Great Hall is. It's where people would come to feast and hold court. The quarters of your brother are above ground, but there's also a multi-floor below ground kind of spread out area where other people are, where the temple is down below ground. I think your quarters are below ground as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the keep is built into the hillside, or was this?
The courtyard is built into the hillside. The keep is freestanding.
Okay. Courtyard is built into the... Maybe at some point we'll get a sketch of this, but so it's like a section of the hill was excavated out, and then a wall was erected?
Yeah. Let's see if I can get a little doodle. Let's see. Let's doodle up here. What? There we go. Okay, good. So we're gonna have like a palisade wall that comes around, almost horseshoe shaped, built against it's like natural cliff facey area, which does kind of come down on either side because there's a slight excavation to it. And in the middle, we have a square-ish building. It's actually probably not that close to the hillside, with a second, slightly smaller floor above it. And then like a smallish watchtower on the very top of that.
Okay. So, the palisade wall is wooden?
Yes. With the gate over here.
Okay.
And then
what's to prevent someone from like coming up the hillside and over the back? Is it like a sheer cliff, or are we like at the top of a hill?
I believe there is a second layer of walling that comes up to the top of the cliff, and then like this, with like a walkway for dwarves and everything up here. So the wall does extend all the way up to the top of the hill with a view over there. And this is the third story of the keep, probably comes about even with the wall on the hillside.
Okay. And is the view facing west?
Yes.
Okay.
And of course there is, I should say, a mine entrance right here. That is the primary mine entrance.
Okay. What is this mine? What do we mine here?
Let's see. Let me take a look at my notes. I believe this was a silver mine.
Yeah, I think the keep was at the most valuable. Yeah, silver mine sounds right.
Yeah, I think this is a silver mine, but you guys also do coal and other things with your outlying mines.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just double check my notes. Where is our resource distribution table? You guys are based out of Tharn.
Plains? Oh, Tharn. Yeah, okay, yeah. I can't even read.
So Tharnum has copper, dyes, silver, and coal. So I think you are probably working mostly with coal, and this might be like your one silver mine.
Hence the keep is here, and there are a few coal mines scattered about.
Yeah, I think the lords of Tharnum probably have the majority of the silver mines, and this is your one existing silver mine.
Mm-hmm. And we don't mine copper. We have to trade for that.
Oh yeah, it's not cotton; it's copper.
Mm-hmm.
So there's copper, silver, coal. We don't care about the dyes. I think there's probably copper mines run by other dwarves from Tharnum, and you guys just trade back and forth for your stuffs.
Okay.
That seems good.
Copper is the main raw material for pretty much all of our smithing.
Mm-hmm. It is abundant and cheap. Mm-hmm. And there's just enough tin and lead in other towns that you guys can make all the alloys that you need.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's probably enough for now. So I will emerge from my bedchamber in the basement of the keep. Does the subterranean levels of the keep extend beyond the footprint above ground, or is it basically just like the tower?
They come out and go in various directions. They're not necessarily all conjoined. Some of them don't share walls. Some of them are just like, we tunneled down and we went over 50 feet because we wanted the weaponry area to, not share walls with anything in case someone tries to tunnel into it, sort of thing.
Okay. Am I on the first level below ground or deeper?
I believe you are on the second underground floor, basement level 2. The temple is basement level 1.
Okay. So I have to go through the temple to get to my room?
Or past it,
Past it, yeah. Okay. Well, I surface and head to the forge. Is there one forge, or are there several forges?
There is an above-ground forge for daily tasks and duties and things like that. And then there is more of a proper semi-ceremonial below-ground forge that like honors the ancient art of dwarven working back when all the dwarves lived underground all the time.
And there's like a vent there that goes to the surface.
Yeah.
Is that where I typically work? Or?
I think that is your typical forge, since you are a cleric. While the other plebeian smiths work upstairs, where it's just more practical. There's a better breeze. It's easier to bring in raw materials, you know.
Okay, so which level is the underground forge on?
Floor 2.
Floor 2. So I'll walk over there. Has Doomhilda been maintaining this forge in my absence? Was that her task?
Her task was to maintain it, get if there was any problems to fix them, and then to just practice her own stuff. So you come back to see a slew of freshly made hammers dangling by their leather straps, kind of like almost like you would hang chimney stockings over your fireplace. Like over the forge, there are all these like new hammers hanging around. Some of them are like small sledgehammers. Other ones are like nice finishing hammers. There's a proper claw nailing hammer. You know,
I take them off the rack and inspect. How do they look?
Passable.
Yeah?
Yeah. You would use them if you had to do a job, but they're nothing to write home about.
I look around for Hilda.
She comes in with an armful of coal a few minutes after you've walked in. Almost
it's much
drops
more
it.
practical to carry that in a cart. Or at least a bucket.
Yeah, of course. Yes, sweetheart, of course. It's how dwarven women sound.
I see you've been busy in my absence. I appreciate that you came up with tasks to do in my absence. Decent work. I point to the hammers.
She gives it an enthusiastic nod, unloads the coal into a basket or a barrel or something, and pulls out her favorite hammer and begins talking about how, getting the claw to be the right angle and to be the same angle on each of the two claws was surprisingly difficult. And I think you guys talk shop for a few minutes about techniques and whatnot.
Yes. How does one make a hammer without a hammer even to start with?
I wondered myself how the very first dwarves created anything without tools. Did they just use rocks and smash them, or did the gods provide them with the tools they would need to make their own tools? Do you think there's a god hammer out there somewhere, given to us by the great forging smith himself?
Sayor's hammer.
Does it exist? Is it a real thing?
Well, how do you think the first hammer was forged? Have you not heard the legend of Sayor's hammer? You should speak with Johanna on such matters. But I have I have something to show you, and I reach in my bag and pull out the iron chains. And the cling, jingle, jingle. I set them down on the anvil.
She looks at them, gives them a sniff, a tap. Gets out a little hammer, gives it a tap, gives him a lick, and goes, good steel.
Can you not taste the taint? I approach and give them a waft in my general direction.
Are they unclean, my lord?
Filthy. Who do you think made these?
She turns them over a few times. Goes, it's poor craftsmanship. Definitely not dwarven. They look a little too cruel to be human. Elves don't believe in manacles, so it definitely can't be them. If it was gnomish in nature, it would have a spring somewhere and a button. So, halfling? Maybe? But why would... It looks halfling-sized. Is there an evil halfling warlord somewhere?
Think upon this puzzle while you melt them down for the steel they're made of.
She immediately starts shoveling coal into a furnace and blowing bellows and getting it nice and hot. And takes a a crucible and dumps the chains and manacles into the fairly large crucible and shoves it into the furnace.
Yeah, that's probably going to
Lowers the
take
blast
the
shield.
better part of the morning for her to do all this. I will not wait around to see. And I'll leave. Don't spill any of the hate while you're smelting these down. That's the secret ingredient for making good weapons.
Hate?
Yeah.
She nods.
You've got no nose for this stuff.
I always thought it was love that was the secret ingredient. A loving weapon, forged with a kind heart. Maybe that's wrong.
No. Good, it's good dwarven crafting there. So they teach you at the academy, right? Humming to your steel to infuse it with love.
Right? So that's what I thought.
But from this orcish iron is a different make.
Orcish.
We'll see what can become of it. Oops, now here I go spoiling all the riddles. And I head up to the surface. Now to take the crocodile leather to a tanner.
All right. The tanner's on the surface layer.
And I will give it a knock, knock, knock on the outside of a shop.
By the blessed smith himself, you've interrupted my stitching. Come on in. Oh, Zwihard.
Maybe this will make up for it. And I set down a big roll of crocodile skin. I came across this beast on my journey from Keldaram.
Takes a look over at the skin, rolls it out. So this one's a beaut. It's a good six-footer.
I rolled a 20 on my non-proficient skinning check.
You did a good job, Zwihard. I never would have thought you as a skin scraper. I always thought you were more of a finger basher.
I got lucky, and good axe. I pat my waist, always helps. See what you can make of it. I'll want at least some of it for grips and the like.
Okay. He will process the leather and make it work for you. And here you are. You've sort of turned in all of your things and checked in on all the other things.
Yeah. So we'll melt down that iron into the stuff. So I've got some dragon scales, but not enough to, more just for decorations. But those will be fun.
Dragon scales? Where the hell did you get dragon scales?
From a dragon.
Oh, right, the dragon. I forgot about the dragon. Yeah. There's totally a dragon.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my wood warp experimentation. So I think I will do this I'll probably do it in the forge, maybe in the temple. Is the temple is it shaped like a typical human temple and like a circle with one to all the gods, or is it
this is one of those more specialized temples. That's particularly a temple towards Seor. So Seor's kind of like at the back in big, large statue, and then like the other gods that you typically pray to are here as well. So there's like a Martha over there, there's an Aster over there, there's a Verasi, there's a Malchus, there's some of the gods are represented, not all of them. I could give you an exact count if you'd like.
No, this is fine. So I will, I think I'll sit down in front of the altar to Seor while I weave my wood. So I've only got one of each spell. So I think I'm just going to keep working this wood and see what happens. So I'm going to start with the reverse, with the straighten wood spell. If I can, I want to see if I can keep the wood all coiled up. while still reversing the negative aspects of the spell. Like, so if I can like straighten the wood but still keep it coiled, and if not, if it just undoes the original spell, I guess.
What do you mean straighten and keep it coiled at the same time?
It alleviate any combat penalties associated with the warped wood. So, like, let me read the warped wood.
I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so to still be able to use the warped wood to like weave like intricate handles for axes and the like,
Right.
but still have it be useful, right? Because it says that. What does it say? Okay, it causes it to destroying its straightness, form, and strength.
Yeah, you can.
I'm wondering if I can like cast the reverse spell, straighten wood, to still keep it coiled, but return its strength.
Mm-hmm. Can do. Yes.
Can I use that with just like a different intention on the reverse spell?
Yeah, you find that it will. The warp wood is more of like a shape wood spell. You can get it to kind of do the things that you want, and you'll find that it's not always perfect. Like it does seem to thrive in chaotic patterns. You know, it likes to twist and warp on its own, and unless you specifically have like the exact image of what you want in your mind, it'll kind of warp out of it. So if you're like, oh, I want a coil, it'll be like an ugly coil with little bumps, and you're like, I want a smooth, perfect coil, and it's like that, but it's kind of like too long. So you kind of have to keep rearranging it in your brain. It desires chaos, but it can be forced by your will into form.
Okay. All right. So I will cast that straighten wood and probably try to keep it coiled while I do, and like get the strength back so that it's slightly more functional. And then I'll use my warped wood to like bend it again and see how the fight the chaos. And then spells extended, I will return to the forge unless I am interrupted in the temple.
No, you return to the forge. Temple, you were left alone. You don't even see Johanna there. Maybe because she sees you and just leaves you alone. Maybe she's busy, but she wasn't there.
Okay. So I've got a couple things I wanted to do. So we're gonna get that iron, and we'll take stock of how much iron we have. We need to turn that into some good weapons. Not sure what I have in mind particularly, but eventually I'll want to use that warp wood to make a cool handle. So I think I will eventually want to procure some better wood to work with rather than just this bush. So I'll probably leave this odd twisted wood somewhere around the forge absentmindedly and eventually go procure some better wood.
That's right. Wood found in bushes is not very good at all.
It depends on the bush.
Gotta get your wood bush free. Anyway, yes, continue.
Hold on a sec. Contemplating this music of the spheres spell, I was thinking I might want to make material components for it. I'm wondering if the spell's even worthwhile. It's one creature per three levels of the priest. Third to its sixth. It's entranced and unable to. It's basically just like an upgraded enthrall almost. It's not. Nah, that's not worth the steel they're made out of.
Okay.
Or the silver they're made out of. Thought it'd be a fun crafting exercise to make fine silver bows, but nah, not worth my time.
All right. So you are sort of back in your keep, sort of in charge of what's going on here. Let's do a recap of what your objectives are. Like what is Zweihaard told to do by his older brother, and does Zweihaard want to do of his own accord?
I can't remember much about my commands. I mean, so Einard appointed me, Zweihaard, Vizier, I think, of Blacksteel Keep in his absence. So basically just hold down the fort while he is out campaigning. So I think that means just, make sure nothing terrible happens.
Okay.
Quests that we have. I mean, so there was the whole demon invasion, meat grass situation. But I think we've kind of left that quest on hold. I think my brother convinced me that the demons are probably not a threat to us. There's a lot of land between us and there, a lot of, there's at least one county between us and them. Probably not our problem, although nonetheless,
someone else's problem. It's hundreds of miles away. There's a whole desert with a dragon in it. There's an entire county of, it's not your problem.
Yeah. However, the revelation that Mithril can harm these creatures is interesting. So it still may be worth collecting Mithril in the event that we have to deal with some of these unwholesome creatures. The halfling priests seem to believe that there was Mithril somewhere around these hills. So that's still something that I want to follow up on. We just got these manacles, which I suspect are orcish. So we'll melt that down and use it to make weapons to fight these creatures, and perhaps go in search of some more orcish iron.
Okay.
We got hobgoblins rooting around the hills, which is unfortunate. There was the whole giant situation in Milfaldur, which was unfortunate. But I don't know if that's
not really your problem. Yeah.
So I think we'll hang out in the keep for a little bit, see if the scouts saying, do we have scouts out?
Do you have goat herders? There are farming dwarves. They double as scouts, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go and have a word then with Ziggy about that.
Okay.
So I think the plan will be to sit tight for a few weeks, see what the scouts bring in, make some steel.
You find Ziggy in one of the guardhouses with a few of the other off-duty guards. They've got some steel kettle drums out that they're banging on and singing dwarven songs and having a good time.
I sort of poke my head in.
They stop the music and motion you in. Ziggy says, "Hold on, everyone," and comes over to you.
I've been thinking about the hobgoblin situation. We ought to be on high alert, highest alert, most alert possible.
You saying that's a terror threat level red?
I mean, there were hobgoblins in our backyard. How much more threatening can it get than that? However, I think our best scouts will be our herdsmen. Right? They're out and about in the hills. No need to call them into safety just yet, but maybe put the word out that there have been goblinoid sightings in the area. And
we've let everyone know that's come in or out today.
Okay. And have them report back to us.
Any unusual sightings?
Yes. And I know this goes without saying, but it's not safe to be herding without your axe. In fact, it's not safe to be anywhere without your axe.
Axe up before you head out.
Yeah, that's a catchy slogan. Maybe we could put it on a poster or something.
I like it. I like it. Especially useful for the young ones, you know? They forget their axe. You should always have your axe body on you.
Stinky.
Not as much as if you have axe.
Smell alone ought to be enough to deter the hobgoblins. Good thinking. All right, I'll leave them to their steel drumming. Probably bronze drumming. They can't waste good steel on drums here, can they?
But the sound of the steel kettle drum is totally different than the sound of the bronze one, and they need the steel, you know, for their jamming, so they can properly, you know.
Yeah. So how much iron are we going to get out of those manacles?
Each set of manacles weighs 3 pounds, and what did I say? There were 4 sets? 3 or 4 sets?
They said 3 sets.
3 sets. Okay, so there's 9 pounds of iron.
How much does it take to make an axe? I think an axe weighs...
We're talking battle axe?
Yeah.
3.5 pounds. So each manacle can get you almost a full axe.
Well, I assume some of it is the handle, right?
That's true, yeah. A half-pound handle. I don't know if it's a wooden handle. It's probably actually less than a half pound.
Well, maybe I can perfect a design that uses 3 pounds of iron instead of 3.5.
Sure. Okay, I'm done with that.
Just to make the math easy.
I like
3
it.
manacles, 3 axes, like a wooden handle. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and smelt down the steel. Is it going to require purification to get this iron into a high quality steel, or is it already good enough?
It's decent. If you wanted to purify it, it would definitely be useful. You know, can't hurt, right? You're not the sort of smith who half-asses their work.
Of course not. So then I guess we'll do some more purification tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll memorize my purify ore spell. And purify some iron. I'm gonna see what the schmanciest wood I can find at our little marketplaces. The good wood might be for warping into handles.
Well, if you just want some good wood, some like solid stuff, you can easily import some oak. There are plenty of oak farmers, or I guess what do you call someone who plants trees and then harvests them and sells them up? You're not a wood farmer.
Arborists.
Maybe, sure.
Lumberjacks.
We'll call them arborists. There's some good halfling arborists down south that tend to oak trees for hundreds of years, and then, you know, their grandchildren chop them up.
Okay.
That would be probably the strongest thing, but there's also a recent shipment of bogwood, which is maybe a little less sturdy, but looks way cooler because it's got this like blackened color from soaking in peat bogs for a decade.
Okay, let's play with this bogwood. Maybe I can warp and straighten it to give it a little extra strength and extra coolness.
Yeah. So you can work with the bogwood, shape it, twist it, get it to do what you need it to do.
I think I want to weave together so like I'll get twigs of bogwood and try and weave. Maybe I can only do 2. Right, if I can only do 2 warp wood spells, maybe that's enough per day to like braid 2 strands of bogwood together into like a spiral, and then strengthen it. And it probably takes me many attempts to warp it and straighten it. And oh crap, it just undid what I like popped the braid out here, so I'll have to warp it again. So that'll take some time. So the next day I'm going to purify ore on the iron, supervise Hilda as she smelts it, and I should probably be doing the crafting.
You don't want to leave that up to your assistant?
maybe we'll do for the first two. I'll make one, she makes one.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, yeah. Because I guess it only takes me a few minutes to, of warping the wood, and then I'm pooped for the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So you warp your wood, you smelt the manacles down into good steel, and you've got your hafts ready to go.
Yeah, what do we want to roll anything to see if it's successful, or are we just going to say...
For the hafting?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do something that is other than kind of distorting it or shaping it into a straight piece of wood, why don't you make me a willpower check to see if you can get it to finagle right? Because it's temperamental, that spell.
Yeah. So I fail the first day. I think I try to braid the two hafts together, and they don't quite work, or the braid comes undone in one point or something. So I'll need to keep trying.
Yeah.
And then how long does it take to make a battle axe? Do you have a table somewhere, or do we...
I do have a table somewhere. It should be on the weapon table itself. A battle axe takes 3 days to make. That is like start to finish, entire process. Every detail of it. So that's probably like 2 days of metal smithing and 1 day of fitting and getting the extra carvings on the wood just right and wrapping the handle and pounding the nail through the tang and everything. Although I guess axes don't have tangs, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Could have a tang.
It's all about pounding that tang.
You watch your tongue there, sir.
I'm sorry. It was just sitting right there. I couldn't not. No. I apologize.
All right. So it's going to be 3 days before I can make a check. Is that how it works? Or it'll be 3 days per check.
We'll do 2 days because, only 2 days of metal smithing, 1 day putting it all together. So, why don't you give me a check after 2 days?
Yeah, I'll do one more willpower check to see how the warping goes the second day.
Okay.
And that is successful, but it doesn't have its strength yet. Right, so I've got them woven, and I'll need to try and straighten them out. Is one willpower check sufficient?
One willpower check is sufficient. Yeah.
Okay, so that actually should have been probably a day later, but I'll go ahead and roll my my weaponsmithing skill. And is there just for weapons? It's just one. It's not like armor where there's.
No, weapons. You've got 2 rolls: one for hardness and one for flexibility, and then you roll for balance and you roll for sharpness, which is more of a matter of finishing it, and we only have to roll if you're time pressed. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So give me a set of rolls for the hardness and the flexibility.
Okay, so I don't think there's a way. I think weaponsmithing is int based, so I think there's no way I can make strength of stone myself better. Nailed it. So there's a 30.
Ooh, for hardness, fan diddly past
so
it.
Hard. So hardness, and then what was next?
Flexibility.
29.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's so good.
So that's going to give you a +1 die size for larger crits and a +1 on saving throws against breaking.
Sweet. And then there are 2 more for
balance and sharpness. And
those you can just keep rolling unless you make a 1. So this will be on the 3rd day.
A natural 1 will ruin the balance. The sharpness, no worries.
All right, so balance next. 24, and the sharpening is a 23.
Fantastic. So 25 is the tipping point. So with the 24 balance, it's just regular. No balance affects how much you need to clear by for a critical hit.
Okay. I think I have this.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about our slightly different critical hit system. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Where is this document on a Google Doc anywhere, or did you just
I
send
don't
it to
think
Discord?
so. I think I sent it to you in Discord. Let me see if I can send it
I
again.
I think I have it. No, don't bother.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, okay. So hardness of, oh damn, 30 was the cutoff for
Better flexibility.
better flexibility.
Yeah. So you can continue doing balance checks until you roll a nat 1 and ruin everything. Get plus 12 on your roll. So you'd need to roll a 13 to get the natural 13 to improve your weapon.
Does it take a day to do that?
It's not clearly defined. Maybe. Maybe not.
Okay, so let me think. So 30 on the hardness. What does die size for larger critical dice mean? So it would make this rolls d10s when it crits. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if it would normally do a d8, then when you crit, it does a d10. Or so a crit would be a d8 plus a d10, and a double crit would be a d8 plus 2d10.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead. Yeah, since it's got a better crit die, let's. Right, this is AC needed to clear for a critical hit. So
Yeah.
at a 21, it needs to clear by 10. So that's just baseline.
Right.
If I can get a 25, it basically needs a 9 to clear.
Right.
I could get a 30, that would be an 8.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I don't think it's worth it. What is the +1 on the balance? Is that to hit?
Yes, that
Normally
should be.
+0.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just play with the system. Try balancing it.
Balance it again. Don't roll a 1.
Nope. Does it take the most recent one or the best one?
The most recent one.
Okay, so I'm 30.
Oh,
Nice.
shit. +1 to hit, and you only need to clear by 8 to crit.
This is my battle axe right here.
Oh, wow. And then you roll the 23 on sharpness, which is nothing special.
All right, I'm gonna.
But you can do that forever. So, you know, if you want to spend just a couple days, you can take 20 on it. Or you
Why don't
can,
I keep rolling? Are you keeping track of time?
Yes, I am.
29. We'll stop there.
Okay, nice. So the first 4 attacks with your weapon are at +1 to damage.
All right, we're gonna call this the. What do I want to keep this here? We're gonna call this the Bogwood Axe. It's a 30, 29, 30, 29.
What a weapon.
What a weapon. So that's going to give it +1 to hit, +1 on saving throws versus breaking. +1 damage for, oh, I only got a 29, not a 30. All right, +1 damage on 4 attacks. Crits on, so it's, and it crits on a, crits clear by 8, and then d10s on the crit dice. So that's only the extra dice, right?
Right.
So if I clear by 8, it does d8 plus d10.
Right.
If I clear by 16, which is
Then
unlikely,
it's D8
it does
plus 2d10. Yeah.
It's 2d10. Okay. It's a sweet axe, and so it's got a bogwood handle that's two pieces of bogwood that have been braided up and then wrapped in crocodile skin.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. What is my... So the other axe I've got... That's just an ordinary steel battle axe that's got a 28 on its hardness, which doesn't do anything. But it is sharp. It's got a 27 sharpness. So that one does also... I haven't used it since sharpening it, I don't think.
Probably not.
That is some bonus damage. Sweet. How did... Was chat right? Was that really her name? Was it Boom Hilda? I know it was a Hilda.
Doom Hilda.
Yeah. Right.
With a D.
Oh, I thought it was D-U-N? Or was it D-O-O-M?
I think it was probably D-U-N, but then it was translated to Doom by someone's mishearing or whatever.
Yeah. Doomhilda. Well, Doom is a little more ominous. All right, do you want to see how she's done? So this has been about a week for Zwihard to make his bogwood axe.
Probably a little bit less. I think you could do more than one balance check a day. So let's say it's been four days.
Okay. Do you want to see if she was able to make an axe in that time?
I do. I guess I will roll over here. Yeah, this is fine. This is good enough. So her check is going to be a d20 plus 10 for the hardness and the flexibility. Wonderfully flexible blade. Unfortunately, she goes to like practice it, and she over hardened it, and the blade just kind of blade cracks, and she immediately tosses it back in to melt it down and try again the next day with a 24 and a 30 again. Holy shit, Doonhilda.
Lucky duck. So she's now proficient in weaponsmithing? She was.
Yeah, I guess she's been working on it for a while, so these are her checks.
So that just gives it a +2 bonus on flexibility.
On saving throws. Wonderful. Then she's going to do a similar check for balance.
Another 30?
That's 3 natural 20s in 5 rolls.
So a 30. Okay, that's what I got for the bogwood axe as well.
And then she'll check out the sharpness with a fucking 27. Holy shit. Did I do good, Zwihard? Is this a good axe?
They say that when Seor crafted his first axe, it was his finest work. Let's ride this beginner's luck as long as we can. A beautiful blade. What did we use for the handle there?
I think this is probably just regular oak.
Regular oak. Okay. And are weaponsmiths able to do that, or do we need like a carpenter to make the handles, or a fletcher to make the handles?
No, you would typically go to a fletcher. You can do it yourself. It's not that difficult. Just to get like the head that sticks in there. But if you want like a cool looking handle, you usually have a fletcher fletch it for you. I think many dwarves do have a wood carving or stone carving hobby. So you could easily take it home and play with the handle for a week as you sit by the fireside and sip your warm ale. And
does Doonhilda have a fletcher proficiency or a wood carving proficiency, or does she?
No, her family used soapstone to carve little statues. So that's her background task is like soapstone carving.
Cool. Should I record that axe, or did you?
I have recorded it.
So that'll be Doonhilda's axe. All right. And I'll let her look after that axe for me. Does she seem enthusiastic? Like, is she eager to make the third axe, or?
I think her enthusiasm is tempered by what you said, that Seor's first thing that he made was his finest creation, and she's a little like, oh shit, I've done such a good job, I don't want to go do a shitty job right now. But she's eyeing the metal just sitting in the crucible. You can see the temptation on her face, the desire to shape things, and the fear of failure at the same time.
I feel silly making my DM make all these rolls for me.
All right, she'll do another one.
Okay.
So here is hardness, flexibility. Okay,
I guess 29 doesn't mean anything, but
yeah. Well, yeah. So this first one, perfectly hardened, but not flexible. It's a crappy. She tries again the next day. 25 and 17, still struggles. Oh my god.
28 and 30.
Third attempt gives a 28 and a 30, and she will then go for balance. Holy Junhilda, what the fuck are you doing, lady? And okay, she makes a second axe. That is quite respectable still.
All right, we'll keep those as a pair. Those will be Doomhilda's axes. I think they're both 30s on the balance, right? So they're both +1 to hit and high crits.
Yes.
And 30s on the flexibility, right?
Yes.
So +2 on their saves. Did you record those?
I am recording them now.
So I think I will leave those in the forge here with Doomhilda, but a lovely set of axes. So maybe those will be a set. Maybe some dwarven berserker will need to dual wield that pair someday. Perhaps we can find some twins worthy of them.
Yeah. So she finishes the axes after, I think it took her maybe like a week and change to do. Let's call it 10 days.
That time. So is iron freely available, or do we want to make it a thing that I've got to happen upon such
you'll have to happen upon or convince your treasurer to release resources to procure. I think all iron has currently been used. It's a valuable resource, so there's not a lot of it sitting around.
Damn. Okay. I don't know that Zweihaard would have sat around for that week.
Okay. So what would Zweihaard have been doing instead?
I think he's going to head out in search of more
crocodilians?
No, more metal. So if there's no word on the hobgoblins after those 4 days, I think I'll probably head out east.
Let's see. So there's been no word about the hobgoblins. However, one goat farmer who was supposed to show up last night didn't. So this is probably day 6 or 7. Let's call it day 6 since you've been back. You've already finished up your ore crafting. Doomhilda's finished up her first axe blade. You've talked about it. She's starting work on the second one. When Ziggy comes to you in the morning and says to you, Zweihaard, one of our goat herders has failed to return last night.
We've been doing a head count every night, a beard count every night.
A dwarf who can't remember who's come and gone from the fort is no dwarf at all. And 6 shepherds went out and 5 came back. Now, it doesn't mean he's been attacked or murdered or killed, but have just gotten lost or drunk, fell down a well. Maybe he was eaten by his own goats. I don't know.
In times like these, we should prepare for the worst. I'll see to this matter myself. Do you know where this goat herder typically brought his herd?
Yes, southwest, actually. He preferred to herd near the edge of the hills at the base of the plains. Did I say west? I meant east. I don't know why I keep mixing those two cardinal directions up.
So not near Tharnham. Well,
No, opposite direction of Tharnham.
It's fine. You spend so much time underground, you're expected to mix up your cardinal directions. All that really matters is deeper or surface side. true north and south.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I've been cooped up in this forge for quite a while. You all right here, Doomhilda?
She throws you a shout of excitement and encouragement. I think this is the best axe yet! Wait, no. I think this is the best axe yet!
Now. Try to temper that excitement. The axe isn't made until it's balanced.
She shuts up and goes to work. Like a good assistant.
All right. And I think after the break, I will head towards the plains and see if we can...
See what's happening over there?
Yeah, see if we can find out what happened to this missing goat herder.
All right. We will see you guys after the break. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.